So today it's going to be about letting life unfold. So I'm going to begin with a story. It's an old story of a boy who wants a drum, but his mother can't afford a drum, so she gives him a stick. So this boy, he doesn't know what to do with it. He just shuffles home and begins to play with the stick. And then he encounters an old woman who's trying to light her chulha. And the boy freely gives her the stick, and she lights a fire and makes some bread, and in return, she gives him half a loaf. So, walking on, the boy comes upon a potter's wife whose child is crying from hunger. So, the boy just freely gives her the bread, and in gratitude, she gives him a pot. Now, the boy, he doesn't know what to do with it, but he just carries it along the river. And where he sees a washerman and his wife quarreling because the wife broke their pot. So the boy gives them the pot, and in return, they give him a coat. Now, since the boy isn't cold, he just carries the coat until he comes to a bridge where a man is shivering. So he was riding to town on a horse, and this man was attacked and robbed of everything but his horse. So the boy just freely gives him the coat, and the man is so humbled, he gives him his horse. Now, the boy doesn't know how to ride the horse, so he just walks the horse into town where he meets a wedding party with musicians. So now the groom and his family, they're all sitting under a tree, and they're with really long faces because, according to custom, the groom had to enter the procession on a horse which hasn't shown up. So the boy freely gives him the horse, and the groom is so relieved. He asks the boy, "What can I do for you?" And the boy, he sees like so many musicians, and he's seeing the drummer surrounded by all his drums. The boy asks for the smallest drum, and which the groom and the musician gladly give him. So now there are several strands to this story. I mean, of course, I mean, at a very surface level, the story serves as a very good example that underneath our trouble, the true nature of generosity arises. But also that generosity is only fully visible if we let the story, whatever it is, unfold. Now, if we limit the story to the boy asking for one thing and his mother bringing him another, we have a lesson in not getting what we want but accepting what we are given. Now, if we end the story when the boy gives the woman the stick, we have a moment of altruism. If we end the story when the woman gives the boy half a loaf of bread, it becomes like a lesson in barter and fair exchange. Trading what's timely and of use. But if we let the story take its full and natural course, we are given something quite different. For the longer we let relationships unfold, the more we see how everything just goes together, and how answering the needs of others depends on how we accept what we are given as unexpected medicine, even if it's not what we want. Now, this courage to wait and let the fabric of the universe reveal itself, it dissolves our individual sense of ownership into a sense of guardianship over gifts that no one owns. Isn't that amazing? In this larger fabric, gifts rush through the universe, moving from one place of need to another in a pattern too big to really see, but in much the same way that blood rushes to a place of injury in the body. So, this story, allowed to unfold, lets us recognize that the unexpected gift that comes our way might not be for us. It might be that Like the boy in the story, we are called to carry to another. So we might be but one exchange along the way, and one exchange from realizing how we are all connected. But in our unwillingness to let the story unfold, we miss the beautiful and profound truth of what it really means to give and receive. This understanding that no one owns the gift, rather, the gift is to flow, to be passed back and forth to whoever needs it most. Now, in this story, in the case of the boy and the drum, the smaller stories within the larger story shows us how people give to each other in times of need. But the larger version of the story shows us how staying in relationship and staying open to a continual practice of giving and receiving, it opens the mystery of abundance that informs all circumstance, even when we feel blinded by our own need. It always helps to let the story unfold from 7 exchanges to 7 generations and beyond if necessary. In the unfolding is the way. Now, to let life unfold, this requires courage because the heart has to open and the mind has to get out of the way. And as soon as you're willing to not live in your mind, you can begin to feel your heart. So you're going to ask me, why wouldn't I be willing to leave my mind? Because we find it very difficult to leave the mind. And the reason is because one is afraid. The reason is because one is trying to protect oneself, trying to control situations, because there's an underlying innate fear of what could happen to you or what other people will do or what situations could happen. And the last thing in the world you would ever do is leave life to spontaneity, leave it to unfold what unfolds. Leave people to be what they are. Leave situations to happen when they happen. Leave things to not happen when they don't happen. Because this is such a frightening thing to just think that everything is free to be. However, it is to unfold and manifest in any way that it naturally does. And that's what is happening. Life is unfolding naturally, but because we feel that we are going to get hurt, that it's going to cause us damage and pain and terrible things are going to happen. So instead, what you try to do, everybody does it, is create within your mind, which has the ability to think a thought pattern that exemplifies how things need to be in order for you to be okay here. That's what you do with your mind. The spirit, God, the universe, universal consciousness gave us an inboard computer, the most powerful computer that was ever made, and said, do with it whatever you want. And all of us, what we started using the computer for one thing. And the truth is pretty much for one thing only. And that is, oh computer, I'm not okay. What does everybody else and everything else need to do so that I will be okay? Figure it out, go to work, computer, figure out how she needs to be, how he needs to be, how he needs to talk to me, how he needs to dress, and when it should rain and when it should be hot, and what my car needs to be like, and what needs to happen, and what everybody, like the neighbors, need to do. What I need, just every single thing in the whole world, especially the world around me, how it needs to be under every situation all the time. Spell it out for me, paint it for me, give me the model of how everything needs to be so that I will be okay. So now this is going non-stop because life unfolds, it shows up in its own unique way. And so you keep going back to the computer. I have a problem. I have a new problem. I'm still not okay. I have this problem now. And then the computer tells you everything. Here's how you need to manipulate and control and conjure and connive and do all kinds of things and plot and plan and influence people to your benefit so that, like a chess game, you get it all eventually the way you want it to be so that you will be okay. And it keeps trying till it gets some. It sounds funny, but it's really true. So you just forget about your heart because you're living in your mind. And that's a full-time job. It's a full-time job to hold that model together, to check everything out. I mean, do you realize before you walk in a room, before you meet anybody, before you go for an interview, before you eat, every single thing you do, that computer adjusts your model and figures out how what you're about to do fits inside of how you want it to be. What temperature of the food should be, how it's served. I mean, there's every little thing. What table is available in the restaurant? How many people are in the restaurant? Do you like them crowded? Do you like them kind of half empty? Or you like them totally empty? Or does that make you feel like you picked the wrong restaurant? What are the people wearing in the restaurant? Do you feel appropriate with what you're dressed with? Every single little thing. It's busy doing that all the time. And when you try to fall asleep at night, you will not be able to because that thing won't stop. It'll keep figuring out how. It's an appliance. And then you would have noticed there are people around us who have it all figured out. Not just what's happening now, but every day for the next 30 years, how it's going to happen. And those are the people that our society, that our culture values, puts them on pedestal. But that's the grandest fairy tale that those people live in. Sounds familiar? And then we wonder why there is no joy in our life, no exuberance, no drive, no sense of centeredness, no meaning, no connection. And now we also wonder why the mind's so active. The mind is active because we asked it to be. It's doing nothing different than what we asked it to do. Because our commitment in life as a normal human being is not to our heart. Our commitment is to our mind. When we live in our heart, we are inviting spirit, we are inviting God, we are inviting universe, we are inviting infinite intelligence to take over, to allow things to emerge, to unfold, to resolve, to heal, to repair, to fix without us being the resolver, the repairer, the fixer, and the doer. We let go. That's what it means to let go. And we are poised, calm, serene, and relaxed because we know that infinite intelligence is guiding us. We know that intelligence watches over us all day today and at all times everywhere. And no matter what is happening, we believe that it is God in action in all phases of our life. That it is just divine law and order which is reigning supreme. Then these words that we use, I hope, I wish, they are no longer in our vocabulary. You will never ever use these words, I hope, I wish, because these words would be replaced by I trust, I believe, I know. That's how we let life unfold. And then we would live a life of rich exploration and profound possibility. Living life with a sense of full involvement and engagement. Not resisting life. Not living life like a programmed destination, but making space and allowing for all life's twists and turns, ups and downs, pains and sorrows and joys, while learning to be flexible, natural, and unstoppable in the midst of all. There's this really beautiful quote from Bruce Lee: do not be tense, but ready. Not thinking, but not dreaming. Not being set, but flexible. It is being wholly and quietly alive, aware and alert, ready for whatever may come. So let's come to our practice today. The practice of being the witness, which is very closely connected to letting life unfold. Now, who's the witness? The witness is the one that observes, that is able to watch without needing to fix anything. Now, this is a very important concept because in our education system, in our society, in our culture, we are trained to problem solve, to jump into a situation that's broken and try to repair it. And when we don't have anything to fix, we go around breaking things so that we can find a sense of meaning. Our tendency to become a problem solver, to become engaged with every drama that surfaces around us, is to give us a sense that we are immortal, that perhaps we are going to live to be 300 years old, that we don't need to develop the inner stillness because we are too busy. If death were to come knocking at your door, you'd be able to say, wait a minute, I'm just finishing this project, or I'm really by my family, or my beloved, or there are a whole list of reasons why you're so important. But if you can develop the witness, you can disengage and simply observe. Witness is without needing to change anything, allowing for things to grow and to change organically. And in the act of witnessing, you're actually bringing truth and beauty and serenity and peace and light to the moment without needing to do anything. You can practice non doing, you can practice witnessing. Now, when I say not doing, it does not mean things don't happen, but things happen of their own accord, with their own organic dynamic, without needing to be fixed or repaired by you. Now, you will say that this is fairly simple to do when the action is happening far away, but when it is with your child or your spouse, or when you are getting all tangled up with yourself with severe judgment, it's much harder to step back and become the fair witness. But it's a muscle. It's a muscle that we develop. And more as you awaken, then you understand that things happen without you needing to do them. That you can transform your life, you can transform the world simply by witnessing the organic unfolding of the beauty of the cosmos. So let's give the doer the day off, or a week or a month if you'd like. And all of the baggage that the doer carries about how the world should be, how people should behave towards you and to each other, who needs to be forgiven, who needs to be scolded, who needs to be reprimanded. Let's just give this doer the day off or the next 20 minutes off. And let's summon the witness, the one that can observe the mind going crazy, observe the madness, the lunacy of our mind, how the mind drifts, it runs off. They call it the dog chasing a stick mind. And the idea with this practice is that every time we become the witness, we are throwing the stick a little further off each time, so that you have these moments of uninterrupted peace without any barking. And what the witness does, it's not a passive act, it's a very active act. By simply witnessing and not colluding with the moment, not colluding with the apparent situation, then truth arises organically like a lotus flower blooming in the mud. Truth emerges and the organic process of transformation is able to continue, unimpeded by our perception of what needs to be corrected or what happens to be wrong and what needs to be righted in this situation. So now I would like you to summon the witness, to call on that self that knows the truth and that practices the truth, that speaks the truth to yourself and to others. This is the witness. So let yourself settle in a way that's comfortable for the next 15 or 20 minutes. And let your eyes close gently. Let your body be at rest and at ease on this earth. So there's a sense of steadiness and presence. And take a few deeper breaths just to release whatever you're holding for the moment. To become more present, and then begin first with a little reflection as you sit quietly. You can reflect on the fact that everything changes, day and night, and gain and loss, and health and sickness, and breathing in and breathing out. And thoughts appear, and emotions arise and pass away. The seasons turn. Sorrows, unpleasant events. People come into our lives for a time and then leave. animals, even nations, whole civilizations. They have their dance. As Shakespeare would say, on the stage of the world, and then vanish. All things in this vast created world have the nature of arising for time and passing away. And you can rest in the midst of them all with a peaceful heart. So now the second reflection is to think of someone you know who has a peaceful and steady heart, who remains steady and calm, present and loving amidst all the ups and downs. They live with a peaceful heart. And notice what it's like to be around such a person. Someone whose heart is somewhat unflappable, balanced, gracious, steady amidst it all. And how beautiful it is to live with a peaceful heart. Instead of being caught up in fear and confusion, and grasping and resisting, and aversion. To be present for life. So you reflect on the benefits of a peaceful heart in your family, in your community, in your own body. And now picture someone that you care about, someone where there's a natural and easy care. Think of them, imagine them. This person, and sense the caring as you see them in your mind's eye. Feel them in your memory. in your image of them. And then wish them well. Wish that they might have a peaceful heart. And as you gaze at them inwardly, these kind of wishes, may you see the arising and passing of all things with equanimity and balance. So you continue to gaze at them and you're wishing these for them. And here you know that they, like everyone, go through struggles and difficulties and joys and success and problems. May you be steady and balanced amidst it all. May you live with a caring and peaceful heart. And as if you could surround them with a sense of the vastness of time and space, the turning of the seasons, may you see the arising and passing of all things in life with equanimity and balance. You're reminding them that this is possible. May you be steady and balanced amidst it all. May you live with a caring and peaceful heart. And now let yourself imagine that this person, this loved one, the person you care so deeply for, gazes back at you and wishes the same for you. May you too see the arising and passing of all things with equanimity and balance. They wish it for you. And with all the struggles and hopes and plans and successes and failures, they gaze at you. May you be steady and balanced amidst it all. May you live with a caring and a peaceful heart. And you take these wishes in. And I want you to silently recite these wishes, these well wishes, well wishing for yourself. Silently say to yourself, may I see the arising and passing of all things in life with equanimity and balance. May I be steady and balanced amidst it all. May I live with a caring and a peaceful heart. So you're saying to yourself, may I see the arising and passing of all things in life with equanimity and balance. May I be steady and balanced amidst it all. May I live with a caring and a peaceful heart. And just let the sense of balance and equanimity expand the space to become vast, like the sky itself. Those words appear and disappear. The feelings and thoughts arise and pass, all held in a vast space of stillness and peace, silence. And now let yourself remember certain emotions that have been difficult in these past days. Worries, upsets, frustration, anger, boredom, sadness, despair, whatever it is. Pick one. And as you remember the emotion and its difficulty, just let it show itself. Let it open as wide as it wants to fill the vastness with frustration or disappointment or anger or fear or despair. Let it get as big as it wants. Give it space. If it's sadness, vast sadness. If it's frustration, huge frustration. And then notice when you allow experiences to expand wider and broader and become vast, they begin to dissipate. They become transparent and translucent. They lose their power. They become like a wave in the ocean or a cloud in the sky that arises for a time and then passes away. You are now entering the space of vastness. Openness. And in vastness may I see the arising and passing of all things with equanimity and balance. Spacious, gracious, may I be steady and balanced amidst it all. And may I live with a caring and a peaceful heart. Now choose someone in your life, another person, to whom it would be a blessing to remind them of inner peace. Picture that person. And as if you could surround them with blessings, a vision of stillness and peace. May you see the arising and passing of all things with equanimity and balance. You're reminding them. May you be steady and balanced amidst it all. And may you live with a caring and a peaceful heart. And feel yourself now inhabiting equanimity and balance. The peaceful heart. And the vastness of space. You become the wise one, the enlightened one, the Buddha herself or himself. Resting in a peaceful heart amidst it all. And now let it expand further, imagining that the field of equanimity and peace extends from you in every direction. In every dimension. and that beings everywhere are held in the vast open space of peace. And stillness, even for a moment, wherever they are. Remembering that they too can see the arising and passing of all things with balance and equanimity. Remembering that they too can live with a caring and a peaceful heart. Peace be with you. Peace be with your families. Peace be with every person, every being. Peace, peace, peace. And let this practice be a beautiful reminder, an invitation of the peaceful heart. And you may open your eyes with a big, beautiful smile. Become the witness to be able to retrieve that energy that we have invested on doing things in this hamster wheel, continually doing instead of being, which is what the witness invites us to do. And as you do so, you can experience the witness blossoming, inhabiting your heart and your soul. And let the witness be with you all day today, perhaps all week, to allow you to pull back, to observe, to notice, to allow the truth of any dynamic that you find yourself compelled or tempted to fix, to step into, and to just observe, to witness how organically truth emerges, how things happen without you having to become the doer. Be the witness. Thank you very much. Atma Namaste.